Hey everyone, so today I've got another review for you. Obviously it's a little bit late off the mark really, being as tonight is actually the night that we go and see Infinity War. However, given the current quite high demand for this figure, based on maybe the rumours of what potentially could happen to Cap in Infinity War, the price and the demand for this figure has shot up of recent times. So I thought I'd just do a quick review just for the sake of the people who are actually in the market looking for one of these figures, you know, just to see if potentially you're still interested in it, or if there's any questions that you might have. Hopefully I can answer them for you. So today we've got the Captain America Civil War Captain America. Now this is MMS 350. It's not the Battling version, it's not the special edition version, this is the standard issue version. I dread to think how much the Battling version is currently going for. This guy in itself, I mean, it was about a year ago I got him, cost me in the realms of about 200 quid. You're probably lucky to be paying under 300 for this one now. He's shot up a little bit. And like I said, the Battling one, you're probably not going to be getting for any less than about 400. But here we go, I just thought I'd do a quick review of him, being as A, I've not had a chance to review him before, and like I say, B, it gives us a chance to have a look at it if you're currently looking for one yourselves. So with the box art, first of all here, we've got the Civil War kind of style comic cover packaging. If you've got, if everybody's ever got a copy of the Civil War graphic novel, you'll notice that the actual book itself is divided. It's white at the bottom and got an image at the top. I've just quickly grabbed one there. That's my copy of Civil War, and the artwork on the box echoes the actual comic cover, which is quite cool. Naturally, this one's Cap, so you've got a close-up of him. But then you've also got kind of the characters from Team Cap running around it in a nice little kind of montage, and the Iron Man basically echoes this as well. It's the Iron Man team, and you've got like War Machine and Vision and things kind of floating alongside him. But this is the Captain America one. It's cool, I do like this. United we stand, divided we fall. It's got a very similar kind of thing on the back of this one. This one says whose side are you on, but again the actual theme of the box, the design very much imitates the comic. Got all there your warnings and your barcodes and things on it, and the logo there. So depending on which side you've bought, obviously if you've got an Iron Man, it'll have the Iron Man head on it. This is the Cap Shield logo. So the actual box itself is just like a plastic slip sleeve kind of clam tray shoebox design that sits in the middle, but then this outer layer is a slip cover. So we'll just pop that off, just set it there to one side. But this is the actual box. This is where your figure would sit naturally. You've got your alternate head sculpt there. The standard edition Cap actually has a different head to what the Battling version does. The Battling version comes with a fixed head sculpt. There's no changing the mouthpiece out on this one. This one you've got a standard kind of portrait of the Captain America helmet, and then you've got one with the interchangeable jaw that you can put like a kind of grimace on it, which is quite cool. But that's your box. Like I say, it just opens at the top there. Again, it kind of carries similar theme across it. It's nice like weathered shield design illustration on the back of this, and it's just kind of distressed. It's not particularly fancy. I think the outer sleeve does a lot of the talking in terms of the design and how how it's kind of presented and sold, which is really nice. I do like on all the Civil War ones, they've all got that style of like illustration that's akin to the comic book, so that's quite cool. But we'll get him out here and I'll get all his accessories out as well, and we can have a talk about them too. I'll be back in a second. So here we've got the accessories. This is how the standard edition comes in terms of the bits you get with it. Naturally, like I say, the Battling version comes with a few slightly different features, especially a big scenic base, whereas this one we've got here, as you can see, just comes with the standard kind of 7-sided base little placard at the front. To be honest, I prefer that.
but I think it'd be nice if, when they are giving out these large bases with big scenic kind of diorama stands on them, it'd be nice just to get a standard kind of crotch cradle like this sometimes, because it is quite hard, A, to get it in a display, and B, to kind of pose it on some of these things as well. But anyway, this is what you get in the standard version. First of all, you get some instructions. Now, with the cap, there's not a lot really to take in. I mean, the body itself is quite accommodating in terms of how you compose it. There's nothing really in terms of being careful with the suit that I would advise. One thing I would inform you of is the kind of little press studs and things on the belts. Obviously changing the faceplate out and the head sculpt out. So there's a specific kind of way you're supposed to angle the head as you change it out. And the main bit really, just to kind of be mindful of, is these straps on the shield. Now, this is probably my main complaint about this figure. Just because I've seen the previous Age of Ultron cap that we got, and that had a really cool magnetic shield, and the idea is that it like kind of magnetised onto the back of Cap's wrist, and the figure does that like the same as it does in the movie. Whereas in this it doesn't, and because it doesn't, Hot Toys haven't replicated it. They've basically just made it as a kind of clip-in strap-based shield, which I'm going to say right now, it is an absolute nightmare to get this shield off and change it into various hands and things. When I first got this figure about a year ago, I put it in his shield hand, I put it in his right hand there, and I swore I'd never take it out because it was that much of a pain. But since I'm doing this review, I've dismantled it, I've put it back to its base state. I'm probably going to change the pose up just because it was that much of a nightmare. But so just be careful, because there are some little clips and things that if you're not careful can break and snap, and that way it's going to impede you from being able to use the straps for kind of going forward. So that's your instructions. You also get, as per normal, some extra wrist pegs. These are kind of clear flesh tone ones, even though you don't really going to get any kind of exposed skin tone on the figure itself. None of it is on show really in the wrists, because he's got quite deep gloves and he's got long sleeves on, so you never really see it, but it's nice that they give you the skin colour rather than maybe a black one. Next, we'll move along here. We'll go across to the actual hand sculpt. So if you look just a little bit higher up, or raise the camera there, you can see he's got a pair of fisted hands on. They're not particularly great, but they do the job. You know, the standard fisted wrist, you know, fist sculpture that you get with pretty much every Hot Toys figure you buy. So you've not really seen anything different there. Then you also get, I'll just interject there, you don't get a kind of relaxed pair of hands with this figure. All the other hands are kind of expressive, which is a little bit odd, because it would have been nice to have a relaxed pair of hands. But the other hands you get, the only other pair that are identical are these, which are the shield grabbing hands, so you can put him holding his shield in either his left or his right. These are the only other identical pair of hands that you get. I mean, the detail on them's nice. It's the same on the fists. They've got like kind of that open knuckle, like on a driving glove, and the padding and things are nice. Like I said, the trench in there is quite deep, and it is a little bit of a pain to kind of get the wrist pegs lined up properly in there and get them to stay on. But you know, like I say, they're not breaking any new ground with these fists. You've probably seen them before on other caps. I wouldn't be surprised if they've recycled them. So on the left hand side, the only other hand that we've got for the left hand other than the fist and the shield hand is this one, which is designed to fit the shield in, so he's kind of holding it kind of a soft grip on top and underneath it, so it looks like he's throwing it. It's alright. I would have liked to again pair of them maybe for each hand, but you know, you've got one. I like that you've got the expressive hands as well, so I just would have liked maybe more. The other hands we get in here, on the right side, we get a pointy finger. So you can have him kind of challenging or accusing. Maybe if you've got Iron Man and you can have stood opposite each other, you can have them kind of hashing it out, and Cap pointing the finger at Tony maybe. And then the other one is more like a kind of open palm balancing hand. So imagine if he's got this hand thrust forwards like steadying himself, and the other one holding his shield back in it, kind of hefting it back. Or you could have him like kind of, you know, maybe pushing against something. There's a lot you can do with this hand because it looks like it's quite like tensed out rather than relaxed, but it's quite cool. Again, I would have maybe liked a few more hands in it, maybe a pair of something else, like a pair of relaxed open hands, or maybe a pair of those, or a pair of the shield swinging hands, you know. 7 hands in a box isn't too bad. I have seen a lot worse. You get your shield, which is metal, it's die cast. It's really nice, the paint on it's lovely and shiny as well, it's really eye-catching. And then on the back, this is the bit that I mentioned before. If you look here, let's see if I can focus in there for you. If you look here, these are the clips, and you kind of have to pinch them to release them from the buckle itself, and it is a bit of a pain. It would help if I've got any nails, but there you go, yeah. So pinch it, and that's how you get that in there. It does it on both sides, so you can clip it off. You can, what I would do is I would have one like that to maybe put around the arm, and then the other one I'd take off completely. So maybe this one actually have that one around the arm, the one with the actual strap on it itself, and then this one to have to take off completely and to work it into that hand and then clip it back together. Like I said, the whole process when I first got this thing, to get this to stay on, I had to swap the wrist peg out to put the shield grabbing arm on there as well, which, because the trenches are really deep, I'd not properly aligned the wrist peg, that kept popping out as well, and it took me about half an hour to get the shield on the hand, so it was a bit of a pain. But really nice. Love, like I said, that glossy metallic kind of candy red finish is really cool. That's that. The shield also comes with this, which is a little bracket. It's designed to hook onto the straps that crisscross across his back, and it comes with 2 clips that are identical to the ones that go on the back of these shield straps. Let's see if you can focus in there. And what they are is designed so that he can clip this into the back of his shield, into that strap, and have it hooked over his back, like he typically does. Again, really nice if we've got a magnet in there so we didn't have to faff about unbuckling this thing. But you know, that's by the by. You also get a Crossbones helmet. Now, this is what I mentioned previously about when they were popping in villains' helmets. This one doesn't look as kind of high quality as some. It is all plastic. The Vulture one from the Homecoming Spidey was really high quality. There's a lot of layers and there were a lot of pieces in it to kind of put it together. This is maybe 1, maybe 2 pieces of plastic stuck together and then painted. Completely hollow, no head peg in there. I think a Crossbones figure was on the cards for this. I'm pretty sure I do recall them doing it. But you know, like most of the villains, it kind of got binned off as a no-go, and they never made it. So it's a bit of a shame, but you know, you've got that. You can stick it on his base, I guess. Finally, we've got your nice Chris Evans Captain America unhelmeted head sculpt. If we just loom in there, and it is really nice. The side profile on it is fantastic. Doesn't look as perfect dead on, but then I think you kind of tend to find that the side profiles on a lot of these do look a lot better. I mean, that's great. That's absolutely spot on. That looks like Chris Evans. That's that. It does pop in at the neck, so there's no underseam under the chin, but obviously as a result of that, there's no head sculpt kind of rotation on the ball joint on the head. It's purely a neck joint. And then also you get an alternate kind of chin and nose and teeth to stick underneath your Captain America. So this is the grimacy one. I really like that. I love the teeth detail on there as well. A lot of people who got the battling version don't get the interchangeable mouth plates. They just get one that's glued in. And so this head sculpt, even though it's on the standard edition, this one was, the head itself was quite high in demand. A lot of people on third party resellers were flipping the head for quite a bit of money. But that's your instructions. I'm going to bring the figure closer now so we can actually have a better look at himself. I'll swap out the faceplate and I'll also pop the shield on him as well for you so you can have a look at that. Okay, back in a second. So this is a nice up close view of Cap, and one thing you'll notice is this is the faceplate with like no kind of face or expression, if you like. It's just kind of the straight face that they've done on him, which is nice. It's not the one that I choose to display him with. I'd either go with those kind of battling, grimacing teeth, or I quite like this, the Steve Rogers head sculpt, if I'm honest. It's really nice. I've never been a massive fan of kind of the helmeted Cap head. I think it just looks a little bit too silly maybe sometimes, but it's obviously how it looks, so I can't complain too much. This is costume. His costume is really nice, as is the body underneath it. Now, from what I can tell, it is padded, so it's a regular body with padding in it, and the reason for that I can tell you so is because I've seen a lot of people actually going in there, doctoring it and removing the padding, and I think it looks a little bit silly with like the padding removed. I think Chris Evans is big, he's a hefty fella, you know, he's supposed to be a super soldier, so it explains as to why he's got kind of big bulging biceps and quite a large kind of chest, because that's what the character looks like. So I'm not really a fan of removing that padding there to making him look a little bit more kind of standard, if you like. But we'll pan out a little bit. This is the figure kind of in full view. Let's see if we can get a better look there. So this is the figure in full view. Again, you see that nice kind of upper chest profile on him, and just looks quite beefy and quite menacing, so I do like it. This is from what I can tell thus far, the like final iteration of the red, white and blue suit that we might be getting of Cap, because the Infinity War one is this costume, but there's a lot of the colour taken out of it. The silver star on the front's missing, the white and the red are kind of dirtied up. Basically, it's a very lived in costume, so I think this might be the last kind of Cap as we know him, as he traditionally should be costume, that we're going to get, and I think that might be equate as to why a lot of the prices on Captain America's recently have shot through the roof, because I think people are now like, well, this is the last one we're going to get, kind of thing. I've clipped the shield onto his back as well, so this is one of the easiest bits of the shield, to be honest. It just hooks off there like that. It's got that clip, like I say, where you remove one of these straps, you clip the clip in, and it just has that little hook, which is quite nice. So you can hook it on him. What I haven't actually tried is hooking it on his belt maybe at the front, and having him, when he's holding it, like across his midriff like that. So that might be a quite cool pose that I could do. So I might have a go at doing that. So we'll just flip him back over. In fact, I'll look at the articulation first of all before I do anything like that. So we're just grabbing him here. The suit itself doesn't really impede much in the way of articulation. The helmeted heads are on a ball joint, so they've got a ball neck joint like the Steve Rogers one does, so it does this, but the helmeted heads actually have a full rotating ball joint in them. So that is one bonus. I'll just quickly show you as well how easy it is to swap out the face plates. Literally just take it from underneath, there's a magnet there in the back of it, it pops out, and then you get a really kind of horrifying kind of no face Cap. So I'll just put that back in, just make sure that you slot the nose under the nose guard and make sure the chin straps align up, and there he is, and he looks a lot more kind of fierce, and kind of it's the fighting Captain America that we've kind of come to recognise from that movie, so it's really cool. These have got little press studs in them, so just be careful of them popping out, that just hold these in place. And likewise with the belt as well, the belt's got press studs in it too. The shoulder pads and the elbow pads and the knee pads, my elbow pad did peel up a bit and I had to glue it back down. That's the only kind of QC issue that I've seen with this figure thus far, is the pads can kind of come loose with a little bit of playing with them, and you just have to glue them back down. So that's the head sculpt. The arms limit you to about that. Oh, see, this is what I meant about the wrist pegs not playing ball. They pop off with minimal prompting. I'll just take him off camera for a second.
Right, so sorry about that. There we go. So his arms are now back on securely. So he's got a decent enough elbow joint movement. It gets to about there in terms of how far he can get this suit up, because it is padded, so it's restricting him getting any higher. But to be honest, I don't think it really makes him, you know, look like he's struggling to move. It's not like the armoured Batman that we got for BVS, for example, where you can barely lift his arm like 10 degrees. So he's got some good movement there. He has got a bit of an ab crunch, but all this padding does prevent you from getting anything more than that, really. Legs give you quite a good range of movement with these trousers. Really decent posability on them, so nothing to kind of worry about on that front. And the knees here, so the knees have got a double joint in them, so you can get it to there and then keep going all the way up. Not a problem with the knees whatsoever. And then the boots, if you just come down, the boots have got the kind of thing that I mentioned in my Star-Lord video, if you've seen that, where because they're a high top boot, it's actually a plastic cuff that sits over the top of the trouser, and then the bottom half of the boot sits on a ball joint. So you've got a nice full range of movement with the foot, but then you don't lose any of it because you put it in a pose and then you just slide the boot cap down to meet it. So that's that on there. I'll just quickly reattach the shield, and then we'll go over kind of a few final thoughts and things. Back in a second. So I've popped the shield back onto his back there. It literally just hooks onto that top bit. You do maybe see a little bit too much from a side profile angle, but from the front and from the back it looks really sweet. That's basically him. He doesn't get a tremendous amount of accessories, but I am quite pleased that we do get a range of head sculpts with him, rather than just kind of maybe one generic Cap head and one generic Steve Rogers head sculpt. I do really like the changeable face plates on there, and to be honest with you, I think things like that maybe need to be considered kind of for future reference. It might be quite nice to get a Tony Stark with the visor up, where you can swap out the Tony face from inside the visor, maybe something like that would be quite cool. But I do really like the figure. He's one of my favourite likenesses, especially that Steve Rogers head that we've got. Do really like that. I've been previously displaying him with that, to be honest, over the top of the actual Cap head sculpt itself. Preferring it. I'm going to try and have a tinker with that shield maybe. Hopefully if I can get it to work, I'll pop some pictures on the old Instagram there, so if you want to check it out, feel free. It's spectacular_shortround. Get on the Instagram and have a look at that. There's some of my pictures on there too. If I had to grade this figure, I'd probably be saying, you know, it's a good solid 7-8 out of 10. Nothing earth shaking. At the end of the day, it's not massively different from the previous Captain America's, and that shield's kind of been non-magnetic is like Hot Toys kind of doing. This with the interchangeable face plates, which is great. It's like kind of 2 steps forward, but then the shield is like the 1 step back kind of thing. I don't know why they got away with that. We got rid of that mechanic, because it was great. You could play around with the shield. I mean, to be honest, it's being able to take that shield off has prevented me from wanting to play about and give it to Spidey. So now I can, I guess. So again, I'll probably put some pictures of that up. But yeah, 7-8 out of 10 is what I'd say. The likeness is great. The posability is great. It's a fantastic interpretation of the character. Just that one little kind of nag that I've got with the shield maybe kind of sets it back a bit, and maybe a couple more hands would have been quite nice. But let me know what you guys think. Feel free to leave a comment regardless, you know, any criticisms, any kind of feedback, always nice to hear. And also, you know, a like and hitting that subscribe button if you're new with us today as well. If you do want to subscribe, also hit that little bell icon too. It'll inform you and notify then of future videos when they go up. Getting the hang of this now, so I feel like maybe a new video is going to be quite a common occurrence. Maybe try and get through a couple a week. So stay tuned guys, there's more to come. Thank you very much as well for watching so far, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.